to welcome back to Grandshelt Nights Podcast number 10. I am your host, Awesome, and I'm here with Kuja, Panda, and Zero. We're not able to make it this week, but we have stuff to talk about, so we figured we'd get started with the Christmas trial. And what did you think about it, Kuja?
I mean, it's one of those weekly trials based on the event. It's not terribly difficult, and the main part of the fight is essentially, with the exception of fire, he is immune to all elements. So there's one caveat though: if you hit him with fire before you bring him to 30% HP, he will dispel your team and hit you with Graviga, and then continue to hit you with physical attacks. Meaning, he'll probably kill everybody in your team. So your best bet is to go in with non-elemental damage, get him to 30%, then hit him with your fire attacks to break his shield.
It takes 4 times,
burn him the
right?
rest of the way. Yeah, 4 turns. It doesn't matter. It's not just 4 times. It's 4 turns. So you have to hit him with fire in 4 turns to break his shield. Then you can burn him the rest of the way down. And another thing you have to worry about is he can do stop, single target stop, and he can hit you with, I believe, paralyze as well. So when you're building your team, build with that stuff in mind, meaning bring somebody who can either cure stop or prevent it somehow. You also are going to want a physical AoE tank in a breaker, because he can hit hard. His attack is fairly high, so you're going to want a decent breaker.
I guess you could also probably go evasion build with your AoE physical tank as well.
Yeah, you could, but then he does do single target magic damage, and if you break him, it's not terribly bad. But if you don't break him, I don't know how hard he's going to hit, because when I did it, I brought Lauren, and she breaks extremely well, so I don't know how hard his magical attacks will hit you. So.
Okay, and then it looks like the main benefit to doing this is Red Mittens, which has 20% fire and ice resistance and 5% MP regen, which is actually a very good accessory.
Yep, it's pretty solid. It's nice for, anybody that you need elemental resistances on. It's definitely something to keep in your back pocket.
Alright. Well, I guess since that's about all it takes with that, let's move on to the ability awakenings. Let's start with Christine.
Yep. So, right off the bat, if you have Christine 7-star, for sure get her Snow Bear's Gift +1 and 2. At max, at +2, it gives her HP 50%, MP 20, and Magic 50. So it's basically just an upgrade to her passive stats, and any upgrade to passive stats are good in my opinion. Those are definitely ability awakenings you don't want to miss out on if you're going to use the unit. Her next ability is Absolute Zero. It gets buffed twice. Basically, the max stacks goes up to 13x max, while also at +2 the damage goes up to 4x. So that's actually a really good skill. It's one of her better ones.
And that's the one that chains with Awakened Chaos Wave with Transterra, correct?
No, that's her other ability that doesn't chain with anything except for herself. But it is her strongest ability, so it is very good. If you're gonna be using Christine, it's definitely one you should be using. Then her last ability is Winterfall. That's the unlock buff to get to her Snow Burial, which is what you're talking about, that chains with Chaos Wave.
Oh, okay.
If you're using her, for sure, get both of these, because Winterfall +2 basically makes the ability last for 6 turns rather than, I think it's 3 right now.
Yes, that's correct.
And it gives her a buff.
Turns,
I'm a little miffed on the fact that it didn't give her a buff similar to Transterra gets. It's just, I mean, because her buff is an 80% magic and spirit buff. I believe Transterra's is 120 when after you awaken her magical awakening, which is essentially what Winterfall is. And on top of that, it buffs up her snow burial attack. It puts it at a 4.5x that ignores 50% spirit. So it's basically just giving her straight up more damage. Unfortunately, they didn't change her frames to Chaos Wave. It's still Chaos Wave Awakened, which
is a
for
stronger
whatever
version
reason
of Chaos Wave, but that doesn't. It makes it more difficult to chain with Transterra.
Well, yeah, I mean, because for whatever reason, Chaos Wave and Chaos Wave Awakened have different chaining frames. Whatever, dev that thought that was a good idea, I hope they fired them way back in the day. Because it's just stupid that these two moves are different. There's no reason for them to be different chaining. Because it's not even like when Transterra got Chaos Wave Awakened and they changed it for that ability. They didn't. It's not like they made it chain with something else.
True.
So it just doesn't make sense.
All right, and then for me, I'm thinking with Kryla. I mean, her debuff increases are actually nice, but in my honest opinion, I'm probably never going to use them, so I probably would pass on them.
Yeah, and they're also expensive.
Mainly because the fact that if you do the 3-turn rotation or higher, you can make it longer if you want to, up to 4. She has an ability to get to awaken a better break, which is 74% compared to 64% or 65%. Yeah. So, in my opinion, it's just better just to start off with her 70% break to all, and then work towards unlocking those other 2 breaks rather than worrying about these things.
Yeah, and I agree to the extent that if you have her 7-star, yeah, you probably can ignore all her sap abilities,
except for Clairvoyant. That's
sap
ability.
Yeah, I mean her debuffs. If you have her at 6-star,
get them.
You definitely want to get them. If you only have one and she's going to be your breaker, because at 6-star, if you enhance her, she's a very good breaker at 6-star. She's better than.
She's better than Lid.
With the exception of Lauren and 2B, at 6-star, she's the best breaker. She's the next best breaker, in my opinion.
Well, the benefit to her is she has one of the highest breaks, like level with Lid at 6-star, but she can dual cast it at 6-star, so that's why it makes it very good.
Right, but I mean, like I'm saying, like she's absolutely a viable breaker at 6-star.
Yep, and then of course Clairvoyant, gotta love passives.
Yep, again, passives, I'll just automatically do it. I mean, passives are really good.
And then with the other 2 units,
we're
not really in the 4-star meta, and they're just not gonna hold up with anything. So, if you really want to look into them, you can, but I think they're kind of a pass in general. I mean, mainly because Gilbert's a bard, and
Tinker carries that.
Yeah, Tinker carries wasn't good before, and she doesn't really get anything special anymore.
Yeah.
Well, since we ended with the winter stuff, I guess we'll move on to the Kingdom Hearts banner, where we have Cloud.
Now, I like Cloud.
I do as well. I think he's basically just a much better Hio.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like the transition into Axstar. So instead of Global going, like JP went from like Hio power spike to Axstar, Global's going more gradually. We're getting Cloud.
Xenogears. Xenogears was a huge spike.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like it was just like you had Hio, and then it was like super huge spike in power.
Yeah.
Now, Cloud is better than Hio, absolutely better than Hio. His damage is about 45% better. And another caveat also with both of the Kingdom Hearts units is they said that when we get to the meta that JP is at, that they will buff them to the JP stats. So you're getting, not only are you getting a unit that's good now, that's very good now for both of these units.
He's kind of a future-proof units.
Yeah, because they are future-proof in the way that even if they get power crept in like 4, 5, 6 months, when we get to JP,
which is about 8 months away.
8-9 months away, they're going to go back up, and they're going to be, very usable units again. There aren't many units that have that luxury.
So, when it comes to Cloud, he's extremely usable at 6-star and 7-star because of Divine Ruination Chaining and Finishing. He has 2 different skills that both do the exact same thing, but his 7-star version is a 6.5 base, but with a 1 times modifier when it gets to 120.
Yep.
His 6-star skill is a 1.9, ignoring 50% defense, so it's 5.8, which is still very good. It's around Heo level. And that is at 6-star, so he's actually extremely good. The big problem with him at 6-star is he doesn't get a whole lot of true double hand, so he's much harder to build for higher damage.
He's also, you get to realize that his chaining is backloaded, so it's very similar to Heo. And he basically caps his own chain with this one move. So it's extremely powerful.
And at 7-star, he gets an extremely good cooldown finisher at an 18 times modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Very
you get
strong.
to turn 4, you can definitely change to using him as a finisher, and he's a fantastic finisher. Also, to help with the true double hand meta, basically, if you get him to 7-star, he is probably the easiest unit to have to get to the true double hand max.
Yeah, because since you're most likely going to be using his TMR, it's 200%.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basically, is that you get him to 7-star, that means you have 2 of him, and it's a raid. So, as long as you're doing the raid, you're more than likely going to be able to get 2 of his TMRs, at least 1, and then you can Moogle a second one if you don't have like Elfrida or something like that. And he has 250. You only have to scrounge up another 50 somewhere. There are plenty of true double hand or even double hand sources that are out there.
But if you're using double hand, you have to use a one-handed weapon.
Yeah, but we've been given a free double hand materia multiple times now. So he's very easy to build for people that don't have a lot of units. And he sets you up for the he sets you up pretty well in the true double hand meta with his TMR, which is essentially it's Martial Glove, but slightly worse in my opinion, because it gives you 10 defense and 10 spirit, where Martial Glove gives you LB fill rate. Or no, Martial Glove gives you LB crystals, which is a little bit better. His Super Trust Master is Buster Sword, which is a 2-handed 180 attack sword. It's basically what regular Cloud's STMR is. It just looks better. And also, in the future, it has the chance to be buffed when they buff him to the JP. Because in JP, this STMR is 190 attack, not 180 attack. So basically, with Cloud, I think he's really good. He's going to be up there right now in the damage meta. There are very few units that beat him out. I believe the ones that beat him out right now are Kurasame and a fixed dice 2B, which fixed dice 2B, in my opinion, sucks, because the reason why you're going to be using 2B is for her breaks, and you don't get her breaks on her LB. With the
fixed dice 2B, you're going to need 2 of her to chain up her LB, because that's how you out damage.
Yeah, right. But again, like, you lose a lot of value out of 2B if you aren't using her TM.
Yeah.
So.
And then, I guess...
Kurasame is quick hit chains, which quick hit chains suck.
I dislike quick hit chaining as well.
Oh, they're just unreliable. Even on a macro, they break. So.
And when they break, they go 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, which is super annoying.
Which is useless. Useless. So I think he's a very good unit. Very solid. He doesn't have any... The only downsides to him is he doesn't have triple cast. He doesn't have any way to unlock triple cast. He doesn't have imperils, and he doesn't have imbues for an element.
Yeah, but most 200 units don't have imbues currently.
There's a lot of units out there right now that can imperil outside of being, your damage dealer. You could just throw an elemental weapon on him to get an elemental. So the only thing that is going to hold him back in the future, I think, is the fact that he can only double cast. So again, with that though, enhancements can change things.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, since we're on the subject, there is Sora, which has one of the things that Cloud was missing, which is triple cast.
Yep.
Which is why he's an extremely good unit at his current state.
He's also very good. And he's also very good in JP too.
I mean, the biggest problem I have with Sora is because he's a mixed unit, because they give him a bunch of true double hand passives and dual wield passives. In my honest opinion, I'd probably build him dual wield just because the skill that I would probably be sticking with is extremely costly. His Ars Arcanum, which is the absolute mirror of equity training.
Yep.
That thing stacks up to 10 times modifier.
Yep.
So it just gets really strong. It just takes a little bit of time to get up.
Yep.
And using 72 MP every turn, or if you have to dual cast it or triple cast it, 72 MP will drain you pretty quickly. But yeah, this character is a much more versatile character because of 4 chaining families in this case, which is Tornado, Meteor Rain, Divine Ruination, and Absolute Mirror of Equity.
Yeah, I mean he's more versatile for sure. I don't like the fact that his TMR is only good for himself.
Yeah, that
his TMR is Kingdom Key, and it's 160 attack sword, which right off the bat you're looking at like that's pretty good. That's pretty solid damage on a sword. It's also got an effect of Keys Begotten Power, which increases equipment attack when dual wielding by 10%, recover 5% MP per turn, and increase all elemental resistances by 10. So this is a pretty loaded TMR. The only problem is
Sora.
It only works on Sora. So if you get one Sora, you are screwed.
Yeah, which is what I got.
Yeah. His STMR, on the other hand, is fantastic. It's 70% attack, no restriction. Increase equipment attack 20% when dual wielding. That's really good.
Really good one. But
even if you're totally ignoring the true dual wield passive on it, it's still 70% attack with 0 restriction. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the 0 restriction is extremely nice to have.
His passives are also pretty good.
Again, like I said, my biggest problem with his passives is because they made him either or with a dual wield or the true double hand. It feels like they end up having to do a bunch of I think he loses a bit of passives, but I guess he still has an extremely large amount of attack passives.
Yeah, I mean, he's also very good as a true double-hander because he gets 150, similarly to Cloud. And 150 is on the high side of most units for true double-hand. Like, Hio only has 100%, and you need his TMR to do that. Now, granted, Hio's TMR is extremely good, but these units don't require their TMR to have these. And really, with Sora, you're missing not a ton if you decide to skip his TMR. I mean, his TMR is still really good. If you're going dual wield, you're going to definitely want to use it. But you could throw a two-handed weapon on him and be fine with it, honestly.
Oh, the biggest problem with him is his two-handed weapon options are very limited. Basically, he can use
great swords.
Yeah, for his two-handed, because his.
But yeah,
the only two-handed sword that exists is the Angel Slayer, which of course is awful.
Yeah. Don't use it.
And then katanas, until Axstar comes out, there's not a single two-handed katana, at least for now, because Global could be different.
Right.
But with great swords, there is Cloud's STMR.
There's Revolving Saw.
And then you have
Squall's TMR.
Squall's TMR, and that's pretty much the only good two-handed great
Bahamut's here, man. Come on.
Don't forget about that thing's. If you
stupid.
went for that, there's probably no reason for you to even worry about it. You could put that on almost anyone. Put it on Cloud. Yeah. Be a freaking awesome STMR.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that's really nice about Sora is he does have the ability to ignore fatal damage as well.
Yep, Cloud does that. Cloud, I believe Cloud has that too.
Oh, I must have missed that then.
So Sora is also, his LB is really good. It's not a super strong debuff, but it's 65%. 65% is pretty solid, and on a damage dealer, that's pretty efficient slot wise. And it also unlocks triple cast. So it's he's a pretty efficient unit. Because basically, you really could skip a breaker if you're using Sora, and be okay if it's not one of those fights where you absolutely need to break attack on the first turn, or you get slaughtered, which happens sometimes.
Happens a lot of times. But if it was a battle similar to how like Leviathan, it was where it starts out kind of slow, and then after 20%, then he starts hitting you hard. He'd be perfectly fine being a breaker.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, he's got 32 LB crystals, which is about average. So.
Well, he also has the benefit of the fact that when he unlocks triple cast, it's for 4 turns, but 3 turns in a row you can use triple cast, which is extremely nice.
Yep.
Well, since that's pretty much the units there, do you want to move on to the raid banner? Or the raid?
Well, I mean, I guess we can talk about the step up for them too. I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
We did get a free 10+1 with a raid up for Cloud and Sora. The way I would look at this banner is, unless you really, really want Sora for nostalgia purposes, unless you get one of them on the 10+1, I would recommend not pulling.
Yeah, since there's no upped chances when doing this 25k, you're only guaranteed one on banner 5-star and one off banner 5-star. Well, most likely it's gonna be off banner.
I mean, my issue with this also is, they're good. Both of them are very good, but they are damage dealers, so they are, in my opinion, skippable, because there are other damage dealers that come out in the future, and you may have damage dealers that are fine right now. Usually damage dealers aren't ones that I would chase. It's the ones that have the most value are support and tanks and healers, because they not only they help your team out more than a damage dealer does, they tend to be more future proof than a damage dealer.
They can also make or break trials or any difficult encounter.
Yep.
Because if you can't survive, you can't beat it no matter how much damage you have.
And like what happened with me, for instance, on the 10+1, I got Cloud. So now I pulled pretty hard on the Christmas banner, so I was not really feeling pulling for Kingdom Hearts. But getting Cloud made me think, well, maybe I should do at least a little bit of pulling for a second one. And I got lucky, and on the 5 EX tickets that we got Saturday morning, I was able to pull a second one randomly off banner, which is incredibly lucky. Pulling, a limited unit out of the EX pool, but it happens. Living proof, but I would have kept, I would have kept throwing the tickets in the raid and doing the daily pulls to try and get Cloud if I hadn't gotten them off EX tickets.
Yeah, I'm tempted to throw some more tickets at Sora because I did end up getting Cloud, but I got Sora.
You got Sora on the 10 free one, and then
free one, and then when I was chasing Sora, I got 4 Clouds.
Yeah.
So I'm happy, but also kind of annoyed because I also wanted Sora too, since I got one of him.
Yeah, and that's like the worst position to be in with him because he's terrible at 6-star.
He's not terrible, but
he's not good.
Yeah,
he's not usable. And his TMR is not even something that can help the rest of your team. It's not like it's good, except for him. Like, it's really good on him, but it's totally useless on every other unit. So if you only pull him, you basically are getting a useless item from his TMR.
Again, he's not the most useless because he does have good chaining families. It's just the fact that it's 7-star. If you wanted to get a 7-star version of him, you have to get it now pretty much. Or just hope in the future the mixer system comes out with something quicker to make him 7-star, because you cannot get him later for the most part.
Or the fact that the way they did this banner makes me think that potentially they might be thinking of a Kingdom Hearts Part 2 in the future.
Because Riku
it's just strange that it was there's so many characters that they could have picked besides Cloud, but they decided to go Cloud.
They could have gone a 3-5-star banner.
Yeah, I mean, I was too. I expected it when they originally announced it. I expected it to be Sora, Riku, and Kairi, and then I actually expected them to have 3 and 4-star units, which they didn't have for whatever reason. I don't know why. Probably Disney. But I think they're gonna try and milk Kingdom Hearts. Honestly, you throw Sora, and you have Cloud, then it gives them a chance to release Riku and Squall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or maybe Riku and Sephiroth, because Sephiroth also has a version in there too.
Yep.
Or Riku and Ventus, there's a lot of characters in.
They could, and they don't even need to touch Goofy, Donald, and Mickey either.
Yeah, they could ignore any Disney character pretty easily, because there's a lot of Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts.
Yep. Don't get me wrong, I like Cloud a lot. This Cloud is way better than the Cloud that we had before. And
I also think
sprite's
it's
1,000
super
times
cool.
better.
Yeah. I like the fact that the wing shows up on the 7-star form and it doesn't exist on the 6-star. I think that's cool that there's actually a visible change other than the swirliness around the character.
Yeah.
Like, I miss things like the sword changing. Like with Tidus, his sword changed, at least, so you could actually notice other than...
Yep.
Oh, the pattern of the swirl changed.
Mm-hmm. Even Sora's sprite looks pretty good.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with these units, I think. Even though people are complaining that they aren't the same as JP, but if they were the same as JP, they'd be absolutely broken right now. And it would ruin the balance.
But yeah, the raid itself, though, it's actually pretty good. Especially for new people, because they give you a hat with 20 attack.
Yep.
And other than TMR hats, I can't think of a hat off the top of my head that's
better than that.
20 attack on it.
It's solid if you're new. Even the shield, Goofy's shield well. and Donald's wand are not bad if you're just starting out. There's nothing. I'm not saying there's nothing for a veteran, because there is the experience earrings that's there, aren't bad if you don't have any experience gear. So, that's the thing. They're there for that. Experience gear is extremely useful because a lot of the times, me, for example, I level up a lot of my units to the vortex of experience, and you just load them up with with experience gear. And like right now, I have a lot of experienced TMRs, but I'm getting like 750,000 experience out of the experience vortex. So don't underrate the experience accessories and materials. They're all pretty good.
This experience one is also 20%, which is pretty high because if I remember correctly, the anniversary rings are 10% bonus.
Yeah, I don't remember, but they're still. I mean, anything is good.
Yeah.
Like like right now, I'm leveling up my Krilla with the raid, so I basically just load her up with experience gear, throw her in, she breaks the boss, and whatever damage dealer I'm taking at the time will one-shot it.
The anniversary rings are 30%, so yeah. The anniversary rings are better if you were available to do that, but the experience boost rings are still.
They're still.
Good.
I mean, any kind of experience gear is good, and it's worth getting.
And then the shield is decent, and then the wand is, decent. If you don't have one, it's fine. But it gets beat up very quickly by a lot of trials.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that we regularly get Omni Rod as a prize in either a raid or like item world or whatever.
Which of course this raid gives us dual wield. That's actually
really good.
I just have 20 of them or so.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them too, but I mean, getting dual wield for somebody who's new is fantastic.
But other than that, this raid ends a day early, so that does hint us at the fact that there might be another raid coming.
Mm-hmm. So, not necessarily what it is. It could be
Urashaya?
Anything. It could be Urashaya. It could be Just Cause. It could be Xenogears. I doubt it's Xenogears, but it could.
I would love it to be Explorer Eileen's banner, the Lara Croft banner.
Yeah, well, what I think they might do with Lara Croft is kind of lump her in with
Urashaya.
Because in JP, the Urashaya event was their Tomb Raider event. So instead of getting a limited unit, they got a unit that was permanent, basically. So.
And then last but not least, if you log in every day, we get more stuff for
free stuff.
More stuff from the Fan Festa.
It's not. Well, yeah, the Fan Festa stuff's still going on, but I think that this
is just the New Year's stuff.
The one that just started, I believe it was yesterday, is actually different and new. I'm not 100% sure, but they didn't say anything about it being for the Fan Festa. They said this is like a New Year's login bonus. So,
but yeah,
it may or may not be part of the Fan Festa rewards.
It's nice to get a 50% Moogle, a bunch of super sites. So if you're behind on super sites, definitely check in. Mm-hmm. There is a 5-star summon a select ticket.
Yep.
Log in.
And there's a 10+1 ticket, which I know a lot of people don't like. Think they're kind of useless.
Better than nothing.
But again, it's better than nothing, and it's 11 free summons.
And I have gotten rainbows off of them, just very rarely.
Yep.
And then of course, everybody loves pots. So make sure to log in every day to get all the good stuff.
Yep, and all these are pretty good rewards. Plus, I believe there's another Fan Festa login bonus that's going to happen in January as well. So, pretty much to get all the stuff from Fan Festa, keep logging in probably through January.
And remember to do the raid, because raids are free everything.
Yep.
Skill, experience, rank experience. Just do it.
Yep. Don't totally just let your raid orbs sit there, and if you log in and you see you have raid orbs, use them. There's no reason to just be like, I don't want to do the raid. The raid is very useful, and the stuff you get out of it is good. And if you pull on the summon the raid summons, you're gonna get, Moogles. There's a potential to get 4-star tickets. You could get very lucky. I know the last raid we had, I got like 3 or 4 4-star tickets in like within the first 3 days. Didn't get anything after that, but I mean, 3 4-star tickets is very lucky.
I've
in
only
one
got
raid.
1 4-star ticket from all the raids I've done, so you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Punk. Anyways,
Yeah, I mean,
I think this is a good time to stop. Remember, always log on to do the raid, because raids are fantastic. Don't forget to log in for the rewards, especially because FanFesta's rewards are still going on. And be sure to just drop by. Our Discord information will be below. Alright, have a good one.
Have a Happy New Year.